Hey there guys, Robert here, and today me and 12 other people are going to be ranking an album from an artist that needs no further explanation. We see them leaning more towards a pop, post-disco, rock, funk, synth-pop, and R&B direction during a time where disco music received a lot of backlash, resulting in not only my personal favorite album of his to date, but also the best-selling album of all time. Welcome to episode 13 of Robert's Recharged Megacollabs, where we're going to be ranking Michael Jackson's sixth album from 1982, Thriller. Alright, so for this episode, we're going to be ranking the standard version that contains 9 tracks, and there's nothing much beyond that, so on with the ranking. Kicking off the list at number 9, we have the closing track, The Lady in My Life, and I mean, this is kind of a forgettable closer to this album, so I can see why this track was ranked here at the bottom, but I don't dislike it nearly enough to call it my personal least favorite. It's not lyrically all that in-depth, as it strikes me as kind of your typical love ballad number, but I will give it credit for the instrumentation, which sounds as lush as everything else here, so this averages out to be pretty decent on its own. But then again, I personally feel like this song kind of drags a bit during its runtime. It's just there, and that's it. Next, at number 8, we have The Girl Is Mine, and now we're on to my actual least favorite track, and man, this is pretty disappointing for a Paul McCartney collaboration. The instrumentation on this one is once again good, albeit a bit generic for its time, but the lyrics see Michael and Paul arguing over a girl, and it just comes off as very corny to me. My least favorite part about it is towards the end where Paul is just like, hey, we're not gonna fight about this, right? And Michael's just like, but I told you I'm a lover, not a fighter, haha. And it's just so cringeworthy. Overall, I don't like this at all. Just a seemingly good instrumental ruined by really corny lyricism. If you do like this, I won't fault you for it, but for me, this is easily the worst song here. It's not even close. Next, at number 7, we have Baby Be Mine. The first song mentioned here was passable, second one, not so much. However, the good stuff has to start somewhere, and, well, here it is. Anyways, this one's a nice and solid R&B bop where Jackson sings about love yet again, unsurprisingly, and I think the lyrics on this one are actually well written too, especially in the first verse where he's essentially talking about dreams and also conveying the link between magic and love. Furthermore, the synths on this one sound really good too, and go along really well with the thumping R&B production, and that key change towards the end sounds cool too. To end this segment off, this is once again a really good song, and definitely the better of the two non-album singles for me. Next, at number 6, we have PYT, Pretty Young Thing. And now we're moving on to the more recognizable tunes here. I think anything that I could say about these next 6 tracks probably has already been said by a lot of people, but yeah, I think this particular cut is great. To me, I like how this track shows him to be at his most intimate, just boiling down to the tone of his voice as well as the lyrics again, particularly in the second verse where he classifies Jackson's desire to be with a woman as an actual emergency. Combine that with yet another iconic chorus, generally solid production, and a nice little touch towards the end with the high-pitched vocals recorded by Jackson himself, and you get one of this album's highlights. Next, at number 5, we have the opening track, Wanna Be Startin' Something. And here we have this song that was originally written for Jackson's sister LaToya about her troubled relationship with her sisters-in-law. And yeah, this is totally a great way to kick off this album. Production-wise, I like how it's sort of reminiscent of the sounds of Off the Wall, essentially picking up where that album left off with Burn This Disco Out. With the lyrics though, I think the outro where Mano Dibango's Sol Makossa gets sampled is my favorite part about it. It's the cherry on top of an already solid banger. Furthermore, MJ's vocals sound awesome here with a lot of charisma and energy to back them up, that bass riff is super memorable, and that electric guitar solo nearly 3.5 minutes in is also so cool as well. Shame this album couldn't end the same way it started, but hey, it is what it is I suppose. This is still great regardless. Next, at number 4, we have Human Nature. Now, this one's excellent. This album throughout sounds very lush and pristine, but this one sounds more lush and pristine than any other track here, and that's saying something. Another song that falls strictly in ballad territory, the instruments here are very well layered, and that's definitely helped by MJ's incredibly smooth vocals and harmonies, the amazing chord progressions, especially at the beginning, and of course, lyrics written by Steve Porcaro and John Bettis, which to me provide really cool and interesting imagery throughout. Really lovely reference to New York City in the last 2 lines of verse 1 there. And that chorus also solidifies the message of the song quite nicely, especially when you realize the idea for this chorus was inspired by the time when the boy came up to Porcaro's daughter and hit her on the playground. Not to mention, it's also pretty catchy as usual too. Love this one. Kicking off the podium picks at number 3, we have Beat It. And now we're moving on to arguably the biggest singles in this entire album, and I don't think you should be surprised by this top 3 at all. A great change of pace for the album, as it's purely a rock song. This is simply about proving your toughness while also knowing the right time to back down from a fight. Like in the chorus where it's virtually telling the listener to, according to Genius, be the bigger man and step away. That way, you don't run the risk of losing, and the other man doesn't risk having his pride stripped. And yeah, I'd be a fool not to mention that incredible guitar solo from the late Eddie Van Halen, which adds an extra layer of edge to an already kick-ass sounding number. also love this one. Next, at number 2, we have the title track, Thriller. And here's a track that I don't really have to explain all that much. Y'all know this one. This is such an iconic song with one of, if not the most significant music video in pop culture, and a perfect song for this time of year on top of it. Iconography aside, this is such a huge highlight in the track listing in my opinion because of how well it nails down the spooky atmosphere. From the top-notch production itself to the lyrics that are chock full of horror tropes that also fit well with the vibe this song is going for, to that chilling and menacing ending voiced by actor Vincent Price, it's all so good. There's literally no denying that. Overall, this is just a jolly good time from front to back, not only for the Halloween season, but for any time this is on in general. And finally, at number 1, we have Billie Jean. And it looks like the top spot goes to the first Michael Jackson song I've ever listened to. And yeah, this is still my favorite song in the bunch. The second single released for this album, this song tells the story of a young girl claiming to be the mother of Jackson's alleged son, which is obviously evident by lines like, "She's just the girl who claims that I am the one," and "But the kid is not my son" in the chorus. But yeah, there's a reason why this is another one of MJ's signature songs. This is a stellar track with great production as always, wonderful usage of string sections, phenomenal guitar work, and quite frankly, one of the best hooks in MJ's whole career. Hands down. I don't think much needs to be said here either. This is, again, an excellent song that is one of the biggest reasons why the album's Thriller is as good as it is, even if it, along with Beat It and the title track, really do carry this whole thing. Okay, now let's move on to the average rating, and it's an 8.5 out of 10. That's kind of how I would rate this myself, not gonna lie, so I'm glad most of us are in agreement of this one being pretty damn great. As per usual, everyone's thoughts on this album, including mine, will be in the description and or pinned comments.
Thank you for watching episode 13 of Robert's Recharged Megacollabs. Be sure to be on the lookout for episode 14 where we're going to be ranking the avalanches since I left you. The form for that will be linked in the description and pinned comment for those interested in participating. The form will be closed 2 weeks from today on November 12th, 2024 at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a like, share if you want, and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss videos like this one. You can also follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram, or go listen to my music on Bandcamp. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.